Hi lovelies, welcome to my life and tarot story time. This is not related to tarot whatsoever. This is the my life part of my name. So I will talk, as so many have asked me, how the trip and the flight, what I was really afraid of, went. And I will show all the, not all, but the rocks I gathered and carried home from there, and let's just start. It all started with the flight, right? I have lived happily for 40 something years without flying anywhere. Well, I have been on a plane when I was, I think, 7. I was in the first grade-ish, and I don't remember it being even close to scary or something, but I developed this motion, not motion sickness, but motion fear, the fast motion, I don't know, this fear throughout the later years. As a child, I wasn't afraid of, I don't know, the amusement park things, but it jumped on later. So, as I know how I feel when things move like up and down or fast forward, then I suspected the flying or the flight wouldn't be enjoyable for me. And I was afraid of that. And I was not wrong, because it was even worse than I imagined, somewhat. But let's just say, as my friends and husband said, that I am spoiled because I really enjoy the private jet size planes rather than the large ones, because Estonia is a small country and we don't have like huge planes here. And the first plane we took was like private jet size, a little bit larger, but not 100 people in it, not 50 even. Like, it was small, like a bus size. And the takeoff was like when you are speeding down the hill and taking the leg off the gas pedal for a second and then pushing it again, the wind that comes through the stomach area or something like that. It was not pleasant, but it was totally like okay. I feared worse, but this was totally okay. I enjoyed the whole flight, and the landing part was a little bit like messing up my intense insides, but it was okay also. Now, the next flight, we ran straight to the other plane because the time was 45 minutes between one landing and other taking off, so we ran through the Munich airport to get to the other plane, and this was happening so fast, no feelings whatsoever there. And this plane was like the Airbus or the bigger size, and when it took off from, not from the moving like motion. The first plane took off like it drove slowly and then started speeding up. and taking off. This plane drove somewhere, stood still, and then just like this. It was so awful. I thought all my insides are like pushing out through the skin, and all my lower body went completely numb, like numb. I didn't feel my legs for I think 10 minutes afterwards. Then it came back slowly, but between below the knees, the legs were like dead, like the ants were running, and they were like weird. It was weird. It was so bad. And while I used breathing, not the hyperventilating, but slowly breathing out and in during the takeoff and the landing, I was breathing out, like long breathing out and then breathing in. So this didn't help at all. I was trying to concentrate only to the breathing, and I made sound with a breathing like you are making a sound when you're giving birth. You know, when you breathe out like with the roar or the whoo. And I was totally mess. And this whole experience shook my body up so much that tears started to run. I was like unable to speak for 20 minutes or so. Everybody was asking, "Are you okay?" I was like totally messed up from this. This was so awful. But the landing was like okay. Let's say it was okay compared to this takeoff. This was like from 0 to 600 kilometers per hour in a minute or so, and it was like so overwhelming for my body that I was like, oh my god, this was so not comfortable. Also, I tried different crystals on a first flight and then on a second, and I found out that the second set I switched the crystals, and the second set didn't work because I turned back to the first set with other flights, and the third flight was also a big plane, so I didn't feel anything like that. And I think it was the start from the standing position that create this, I think. Okay, so the crystals that I am forever using from now on for as my flight buddies are the black tourmaline, the hyperstein, I think it's called, then aventurine, and blue calcite. How did I had my crystal bag in front of the seat pouch at all times, and these were like the first things I grabbed out from my purse when everything had to be put away. And okay, well, these two, the hyperstein and the black tourmaline, I held like this in my hand during the takeoff. Then these two, I was supposed to do it, make a pendant for it. It is a pendant. I was supposed to make a necklace out of it, but I had no time, so actually it's a good thing. I put these two into my here. So I had one here and one here around this area that felt the worst during the flight. The pressure in here and the thing, and then it sunk below. These two were the ones that didn't let it happen that bad, and these stayed in there all the time, but these when the plane was already flying, I just put under my butt. I sat on them, and on the way back, again with the larger plane, there were heavy winds and the turbulence, which lasted about half an hour or so, something like that. Then I grabbed these also, but this was not as awful. It was like unpleasant maybe, but not awful. I was I am afraid of heights, you know, but I was able to look out the window and enjoy the everything up there. But that's why I took so many pictures out of the plane window, because this is such an achievement for me. And yeah, all other flights which followed, there was like 1, 2, 3, 3 more, was okay. And when we again approached this area, the last plane was even smaller than the first one. Like my husband says, it was the exact size of the private planes that are out there. And these types of planes I like, because the weather conditions were also bad around here, not sunny, windy, muddy, snowy, rainy, everything, and cold. And the little plane didn't feel that bad at all compared to the large one. I don't know what that is, but I think I'm spoiled. I need to get the private plane if I get anywhere. Luckily the country is so small that when you take smaller plane flights, then you will be getting the smaller plane. So this happened. Now for the rest of the trip, it was amazing. First of all, the warmth, and I love sea. There was ocean everywhere. We first went to the Bilbao in northern part of the Spain. We stayed there 2 nights over the weekend, and on the Sunday then we went on to the Canary Islands, or the Gran Canaria. The Bilbao was much warmer than here, but it was rainy. But all and all, like usual old town, random palm trees only said that you're somewhere else than around here. It was like spring, our spring over there right now. So we walked around the city and enjoyed everything we could, tried to eat local goodies, and I'm not a fan of seafood, but I totally did taste some things. It was not so bad. So not my first choice, but I wanted to try new things. So the next thing, we don't have a Starbucks over here. So the way my name was like written out on the cup was also interesting. It was spelled as chain, like chain thing. I have some pics up on my Facebook also of that, because that was funny. And yeah, what did we visited around the Bilbao area. We took the subway. It started as a subway, but afterwards it was like on the land train outside. We took a 40-minute drive to the shore. I can't say the names of the places because these were too complicated. I can write them down somewhere here if you want to know, but both of those places we visited were the scenes that were used in the, what is this called, the, not the movie, but the Game of Thrones. So we had some fans with us who wanted to visit that. So we went there, and while one of the beaches was like river meeting the bay and huge waves, of course, but it was like nothing so much different. But the other side was like out of this world amazing, this secluded area, and oh my god. But all the hiking and all the we tried to walk all the paths, so it took my breath away for a while, and I thought I must maybe exercise more to be able to go everywhere I want. But yeah, the first shore was like beach, sandy and everything, and while the waves were huge, the wind was almost non-existent. We just sat on the pier, or the wave breaker is it called, and I think we just sat there for an hour, and also half of the time I was just walking around there and gathering everything that I found interesting and could carry. I'm showing a few of them. So the shells of every kind. Shells. I love everything that nature has created, and these have such great energy. Look at that, how they even grow like this. Many of them were like grown into the rocks. They were like inside the rock, a little bit was only out or showing, and I took some pictures, but I couldn't carry like a huge boulder with me which had those shells inside. So like I don't even know the species. This is petrified, or like already have been there, and it has this wonderful hole in it. And if you look at this way, this is like a face with one eye looking at you, and this is half a rock already, not so shelly. And this also, it looks like bone, but it's the same type of shell. So these, and some, of course, rocks. This is just a pretty white rock, generic maybe, but this one is awesome. Look at that, all the holes in it. I love these. This has some kind of metal, or I don't know what's in it, but has inclusions and holes. This. Then I actually gathered more, but this is everything from there that I'm showing. Now the next place, the awesome secluded beach that we visited, also a place where they shot the, I can't remember what name of who has landed there, and they knew everything, the lore. I'm not watching any of this, so I can't tell, but there were these guys on the rocks, like they were sitting on the rocks in rows, smaller and bigger, and they are like, I don't know what species is this even too. These are not, I didn't take any live ones, I just walked around there and gathered the empty or used ones, or I don't know if they are dead when they are discarding their shells or not. Then as the rocks or the formation of the whole thing is really interesting, like different colors in it, and from yellow to white, and like I don't know how it's called, but they looked like this from the side. Layers, is it? Many layers of different like blades, and this I found laying there. This is like part of the big thing probably. I find it resemble a arrowhead, and I might create something from this one. Then another one I took, and it was like real arrowhead thing, ready to be used, a little bit maybe sharpening needed. I gifted to a Game of Thrones fan, and he was really excited when he found out where it came from. It was like sacred to him. So, but it was this type of rock, but perfect arrowhead. But this I can use as an arrowhead thing or something also. Maybe some leather cord around there and put around the neck. Then this was from there, also shows the layers of the formation that is here. You can see gray and white and a little bit of brown. I'm sorry, my camera is maybe not showing everything, but these little guys are the snowy quartz. You can see it like the light shining through it. Little pieces of snowy quartz. So this was from there. Now next, oh, this was from there also. I can't even, I don't know what fruit or the, what's it called? Acorn? No. Something, I don't know what's this, but I don't know. I love these types of weird things, and I just have to take them with me. Also, as I said, there was like the little bars or snack places. I can't remember how they were called. You could just buy little snacks, but not real food, like the real meal from there. And they served a, I can't even remember what was it called in this shell, and I asked the waiter if I can keep the dish I was served in, and she said, sure, go ahead. So I brought a plate with me, but I asked, so fair and square. Now, this is all for the Bilbao area, but now we are moving to the Gran Canaria. This flight was with a large airplane also, but it was not so bad. It was like uncomfortable enough, but not so bad. So far, all those flights were like 2 hours plus, 2 hours and 30 minutes, 2 hours and 10 minutes, 2 hours and 40 minutes or so, under 3 hours. So it's like bearable, this type of short flight, shortish, compared to, I don't know, flying 12 hours, I can't even imagine. So what we did there were laying around the pool and just enjoying the sun. It was just so awesome. First day we were like stamps outside, because all the vitamin D that we all needed to breathe in through our skin was like massive. The deprivation, when we live here, we have to take additional vitamin D capsules because we can't get enough sun throughout the year. We have to even take them in summer to maintain the needed portion for the body. There you can live without those things. So then we drove to the, I can't remember the names, the place that was called Little Venice. It was like made a little part of the city that was made to look as Venice. It was on pier and beautiful flowers and short and long streets inside the old town. But this one has had a hotel areas and the little beach, and the beach was literally packed with grilled chickens, if you know what I mean. The people were like over tanned. This was awful to look. I don't know if I would ever take a vacation. I can't imagine I would spend it on a lying position under the sun all day long, every day. It's pointless to me. It's like, no, you can't do that to your skin. The people were really like grilled chicken, you know, not even natural colors. When a woman with blonde hair walks like on the street and you can see only the white eyeballs, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, I can't see anything. They are like invisible. I can see only the overly tanned face and the eyes in there. This was, I don't know, this is ugly for me, and I would never do that to my skin or myself. Plus, the laying down is not a vacation. You have to run around and see things and communicate with local people and, I don't know, touch everything and gather every rock. This is not my type of vacation opinions. So then this was first day, no, the same day we drove quite a lot through the south side of the Gran Canaria island. I know the one beach we visited was called Angel's Beach, and nearby was the Devil's Beach, or Devil's Beach also, and also highly tourist-filled area. One of the little like towns where the street names and the facilities were marked in Swedish and German mostly. We saw German hospital, like all big letters, big writings in German everywhere, and I presume the part of the island is the place where German tourists and the Swedish tourists are heading most of the time. So that was interesting. Also, we then visited the dunes that are nearby. It is like when you're in the city, it is like usual or old town, and then there's a huge hotel, like white, bright white or marble white, like hotel, and you go through this tunnel-like opening between the hotel atrium, is it called maybe? And then all of a sudden you are on a desert. Like behind the hotel starts the huge mountains of sand, and it's out of this world. How can this even be? And behind that sand it's ocean again. Then we sat there and looked at the sundown and then headed back home, or the place we were renting. So interesting, really interesting how people are so much slower in there. They have all the time in the world. For example, we had an appointment to, like, I don't know how it's called, to sign the contract with the place we rented, and they said they will be there at 11 a.m. We waited and we waited. We wanted to head out to shop some food and everything, but we waited. It was 12 already, and then it was 1, and then we called, are you taking much longer, because we wanted to do this and that, and they called, yeah, you can go and we will come back later, and they totally appeared at 4 p.m. And it's so funny because around here we have no siesta, and everything is open all the time. There you can't find a shop that is open, for example, 24/7. There's nothing. You can't go after 6 or 8 and get some food or even a coffee. You can't. What? I think somewhere you can, like the tourist areas, there probably are cafes or things open, but we were in the little bit away from the ocean on the hills, in the gated community area for golfers, or I don't know, there was like houses everywhere, and there was a little shop. It was closed at 6 p.m. It was open 10 a.m. and they had a lunch time for 4 hours or 2 hours in between, so not much of a work time. I would totally live there because I would like be a best worker there probably, because we are not slow-paced people. We would froze to death if we could just stand around or do nothing or move that slow, which was interesting and culturally like educating for me, that you can or have to take things slowly. There is no rush. You don't have to run. You don't have to hold on to the deadlines, and people are okay with that. People are totally like okay with that, which is cool. I would live that life and enjoy the sun all year round, and yeah, must learn Spanish and leave this snow hole. Maybe, just a thought. So, and then we visited the one day, I'm not going to tell you all the days, the mountain, most higher peaks of the island, or one of them, or second highest, which was the Roque Nublo, which was formed 4.5 million, was it, or 45 million years ago, and the eruption of this volcano created this island as it is right now. All the green, the trees and everything was later on replanted because everything was gone. It was like rocky, deserty thing, and people have done a lot to green this mountainous area up again. So the Roque Nublo was 1,800 something meters above sea level, which is the highest I've ever been on the land. The clouds were down below somewhere there, and it was amazing. It was beautiful, and thanks to all my dreams that have brought me these places, I was not afraid. I was not terrified of the heights. I was not like afraid of sitting in the car that drives on the mountain roads, which were like this narrow, and you can just see how far you can drop down from here. So, and the curves and the curve like going nowhere. If you miss it like for a little bit, you can totally plummet off from there. And but this was amazing, and all the things. So from the Roque Nublo, which had a volcanic, fiery and fierce energy, the energy was there so powerful. I would have spent there whole day. I like sat there, and it was amazing. And from there I took a handful of rocks, little rocks, pebbles, that because I didn't have much room in my bag or pockets. So these are the types of rocks I took from there. Just volcanic rocks, nothing special in most of them, but this one has obsidian in it. And yeah, these also. There was white sage, or like the locals call it tea sage, growing everywhere. And the park manager, I don't know, there were people that you can go ask things from, and I asked if I can maybe gather. I didn't mean I will take the whole bush and clean it up, but from here and there, if I can take it, it is actually under like national, I don't know, it's a right word for it, a protection area, but they say that okay, you can take as much, like a little bit. So I took a bushful, handful, little bit from here and little bit from there, gathered, and later on dried them on the patio thing we had there. So, and bundled some up for burning, and I must say I googled it, the Latin name of it, I can't remember. I took some images, but I had to clean up my phone and all of them are on the USB drive. So this is only the type of sage that grows in higher places in the island, and also some of the Mediterranean areas, but it is pretty much something that grows only on that side, in that side of the world. So I'm pretty pleased to have something like this. And it burns with a totally different smell than the white sage I purchased from everywhere you can, the generic one. And the tea is just, oh my god, this is so amazing, and it should be detoxing your body and helping with headaches and such. And the smell is weird, you have to get used to it, but the taste and the how it like feels, it is like superb. It is something that I haven't yet experienced with any other sages, because you can't make tea of every sage. I think there's some sage you couldn't even like sage, because it makes you high as a kite, so, or even hallucinate. So these were the rocks from there. And the next day, or the next day, whatever, we visited the capital city, and it was much colder there. It was like 40 kilometers from the south side to the north side, where the capital city of Las Palmas is, and there it was cloudy, no sun. It was like promising rain, but moist, and was like people were wearing winter jackets, and totally different weather, which was really interesting. And when we drove back home, one point the clouds just disappeared and there was the sun again. And on the last day only we saw a cloud formations on the south side of the island. Before that, only few pebbles of white, soft, cottony clouds here and there, but not like masses of nothing. It was like clear sky and sun and blue sky all the time. So from the Las Palmas we visited the official beach that they have here, and we walked around on the city and ate local goodies, tried everything, and were so stuffed afterwards because the amounts were huge. So from the beach there, this is the larger pile I got from anywhere. These are the lava rocks. These are the rocks that they make the bracelets of and things. They are like big, you can see it's huge, but it's light. But it's not the other thing that floats on the water you can exfoliate with. This is not that light, but it is really light compared to the usual rock, same size. So these darker. Then there were these lighter ones, which were interesting. These. And something that has red in it also, a little bit. So lava rocks. And these I have like a pile. So then huge waves were coming in and surfers were surfing out there, but it was windy and quite cold. And the crabs, pretty large ones and smaller ones also, were all like on those rocks, big rocks. And in between those big rocks were the smaller rocks, and I almost grabbed a crab. He was like in between this little area, and I saw a rock from up there I wanted to take, and I put my hand in and suddenly saw the claw and something moving, and I was like, oh, like, no, I'm not going to get that rock. Although I came back and eyeballed it, and then I saw the crab was still in there, so I wanted to not to disturb it and not to get snapped. So, and also weird white rocks that sparkle a little bit. I don't know if you can see, you can't probably see, but they have a lot of sparkle in it, and when it's dark they are like bright white in the dark, especially when the sky is bright in the nighttime and the moon is out. I don't know what are those. I have to Google it yet, but yeah, my camera thing is not so good. Well, my camera is good actually, but the light in here messes all things up. So these, I have a pile also. They have this moonstone-ish energy to them for me, and as the lava rocks have this weird grounding yet fiery, but the ones I got from the up there from these, you can feel the fire or the energy in them. This is like interesting. And also, I don't even know what rock this is, but this looks like a mountain, like a mini mountain or mini volcano, and I love this one. I have two a little bit smaller ones, and if I place them in a grouping they look really cute. So yeah, I'm weird. I have rocks from everywhere, and I know where something came from. I have gathered rocks from around here. On every beach I go, I come home with at least one or two rocks, and I totally remember where I got it from. So I know my rocks. Also, I purchased myself a shark tooth pendant thing, and the ring The round ones are also bone, but the black ones are wood. And then this moony thing that is made out of, I think, the shell of some sort. So this, one shell I want to show you. This one was also from the awesome place from where the movie set was, where the arrowheads were. This laid around there. This is awesomely iridescent, and then you can't even see it. I presume the camera doesn't show it in this light. And the holes in it. They sold these exact ones, but like, I don't know, huge. And all they were iridescent, and they were like much more thicker. They sold them for, I think, €7 or 9. Larger, smaller, larger, but still huge. But I opted not to take it because I thought it would crash on the baggage, and I'm glad I didn't, because all those rocks and all those tarot decks and all those things I had in the luggage would have been crushed, because the luggage came back like it was new before, but we came back with ravished luggage bag. So I'm glad I didn't, but I'm sorry I don't have it, you know. I must go back there and be more prepared now, knowing what I want to get. And the local goddess that they had there, I don't know even how it's called. I have to Google it also. They had smaller statues and larger, and one of the cities had it placed on the middle of the roundabout road, and it's really interesting. It looked different, and it seems or feels to me it is somehow related to the volcano eruptions in there, because this is maybe their creational goddess, or it had no visible gender details, so I don't know. It was like interesting, and the mouth was like when you whistle or make wind, or like this. But no facial features per se, and interesting, really interesting. I must Google it. Thank you for reminding me. So this was it, I think. The flight back was okay, too long for my liking, and like I said, the winds and the turbulence, but it was like bearable. Everything, the landing on the Copenhagen airport was a little bit like not stable, I want to say, because it went a lot of like this before it landed, because of the winds, and the airport itself is on the shoreline, very close to the, and it's like half island. So yeah, about the plane thing, what I discovered, I can't, when the takeoff and everything, my husband says it helped him when he saw how the plane took off and looked outside. So, and when the plane in midair like was turning and tilting a lot, then when he looked out of the window and saw, then the brain like said, okay, we know what's going on. And he was like enjoying the looking out of the window more than I during these things, because if I looked out of the window, I tried, because I had to try everything. When the takeoff, I could do it while landing though, but during the takeoff, when I was breathing and feeling, when I looked outside, I started to feel physically ill. And I thought, stop, you can't look, because you can't top that with throwing up. So I decided not to look out the window until it was stable and up there. I couldn't look out of the window when it was like turning or doing these things also. Then my brain didn't want to see that. I felt it, that was enough. I knew it, what was going on. I didn't want to see it, because this made me like feel ill or sick to my stomach. Weird things. Well, how much of your time have I taken? Almost an hour. So, in a nutshell, this was my experience with the flight, and the cards were not lying. Strength card was popping up everywhere, and the Deviant Moon showed me the Page of Wands, which is a guy on a ice on a stilts. So this was exactly how I felt. You are on a different situation on a ground that is not walkable, and you're still trying to walk on it. So everything new, everything not comfortable added together, and you trying to get like through it with dignity and sanity. So, okay, I blabbered too much and taken too much of your time. If you're still here, I really appreciate it, and I thank you for watching, and bye.